More than 100 personnel and 41 agencies have been involved in the search for Wells since she was reported missing from her home in the Beach Creek community Tuesday night. Speaking to reporters, Summer's father, Don Wells, thanked the community and the emergency personnel searching for Summer. Wells also spoke about the evening his daughter was reported missing. She was planting flowers with her mother and her grandmother, and she wanted to go into the house. So my wife watched her go into the door, and she went into the house. And the boys were on the internet, of course. And she wanted to go downstairs and play with her toys. So when her mother came in and she says Summer, and she went down into the basement and she didn't answer. So she went down there and she was gone. So she went out the basement door, which was unlocked, and we haven't seen her since. Don Wells, Summer's father.
So when her mother come in, she says, "Where's Summer?" She went down in the basement, but she didn't answer, so she went down there and she was gone. So she went out the basement door, which was unlocked, and we haven't seen her since.
This morning, Donald Wells spoke on camera for the first time since his daughter disappeared.
Please, that Summer be okay. Please come home.
He says it's unlikely Summer would leave the house on her own. Wells says the last time anyone in the family saw Summer was when she entered the house to play in the basement after gardening with her mother and grandmother. Wells also spoke about his gut feeling about Summer's whereabouts.
Some bad person grabbed her, but we have no idea.
Wells says law enforcement have covered leads on area sex offenders and drug addicts.
We're trying to think, beat her brains out. We've covered everything that we can think of already.
Investigators say they have followed up on 85 tips so far. Wells says he is overwhelmed by the massive numbers of personnel on site.
We just really appreciate everybody trying to help. We got now law enforcement and all these volunteers that are here. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life.
That was John Janko reporting those sentiments shared by Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson, who said he has never seen a show of public support like this in his 4 decades of law enforcement.
Yeah, today the TBI and Sheriff Lawson said Summer's family does continue to cooperate in this ongoing search for the little girl. They say that at all points the family has continued to be assisting in this process.
Good afternoon. I'm Leslie Earhart with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. We can't thank you enough for your continuing coverage and helping us get the word out about Summer. Before I turn it over to Captain Coop, I want to reiterate that there are 2 aspects of this investigation: the search and the investigation itself. You've heard a lot about the search because that's something we can elaborate on. What you haven't heard a lot about is what's happening outside of the search. Rest assured that agents and Hawkins County detectives are investigating this fully. All avenues are being explored. As of this afternoon,
a breakdown of the difference between the search and investigation aspects in a missing child case like Summer Wells, how they coincide, and the detailed steps involved in each. The search aspect. Purpose of the search. The primary goal of the search is to locate the missing child. This includes a direct, physical search of the terrain, surroundings, and potential hiding places to find any trace of Summer. Search area definition. Search areas are defined based on the last known location and expand outwards. For Summer, this involved the immediate area around her home in Hawkins County, with an increasing radius as days passed. Terrain and access challenges. Searchers contend with natural obstacles, steep hills, dense foliage, and limited access roads in the Beach Creek community, which require careful planning and specialized equipment. Search teams and roles. Teams include trained personnel, volunteers, K-9 units, and specialized search and rescue professionals. Each team has specific roles, from combing dense underbrush to rappelling down steep hillsides. Methodology. The search often includes ground teams, drones, helicopters, and thermal imaging. Each method helps scan the environment, especially in difficult terrain like that around Summer's home. Use of K-9 units. Dogs are essential in tracking scents, particularly for missing children. They're used to cover large areas and can sometimes pick up a trail where humans cannot. Drones and helicopters. Aerial searches allow coverage of hard-to-reach areas and provide a bird's-eye view of the terrain. Drones, in particular, can navigate through dense woods and steep cliffs with ease. Community searches. The public may participate under law enforcement guidance to help cover more ground, especially when more people are needed to canvass expansive areas. Water searches. In cases where water sources are nearby, divers may inspect ponds, lakes, and creeks, considering children can accidentally fall into water. Heat maps and search grids. Search teams often use mapping tools to mark areas that have been searched, ensuring no area is overlooked. The investigation aspect. Purpose of the investigation. Unlike the physical search, the investigation looks at underlying factors and information related to how the child went missing. Investigators analyze clues to understand potential circumstances or suspects. Questioning family and witnesses. The investigation includes interviews with family members, neighbors, and others who might have seen Summer or been in the vicinity. Timeline development. Investigators piece together a timeline of events on the day of Summer's disappearance. Every activity, call, or sighting helps narrow down the time frame. Background checks. Family members, acquaintances, and any person of interest may undergo background checks, examining any history that could hint at foul play or concerns. Digital forensics. Authorities may search through phones, computers, and social media accounts to gather details about potential motives, messages, or other communications. Evidence collection. Investigators gather physical evidence, like hair fibers or footprints, that may suggest foul play or a possible route Summer may have taken. Surveillance footage. Investigators review any available security footage from nearby areas to see if Summer's movement or any suspicious activity was captured. Use of polygraphs. Sometimes family members or witnesses take polygraph tests to verify their accounts or rule them out as suspects. Forensic analysis. DNA testing, fingerprints, and any recovered evidence are analyzed to understand the nature of any potential crime. Psychological profiling. Investigators may create psychological profiles of potential suspects, especially if they believe an abduction occurred. How search and investigation coincide. Shared goal of locating Summer. While the search physically looks for Summer, the investigation seeks clues about her potential location, which can direct the search area. Evidence-guided search areas. Investigation findings, like a potential scent trail, inform search efforts, allowing teams to focus on specific areas. Real-time updates. As investigators gather new information, they can relay it to search teams. This feedback loop keeps search efforts targeted and strategic. Community coordination. Both the search and investigation may involve community assistance. Volunteers can help with the search, and community members may provide tips or witness reports. Communication with law enforcement. Search teams and investigators work closely to avoid duplication and ensure a streamlined response, especially when resources are limited. Witness statements influence search. If witnesses report potential sightings or suspicious activities, search teams may prioritize those areas based on the investigation. Specialized search for evidence. If investigators believe Summer was abducted, search teams may look for items left behind, like clothing or personal belongings, which could lead to new evidence. Coordination on press releases. Both teams ensure consistency in information given to the public, avoiding confusion and protecting the integrity of the investigation. Utilization of expert input. Experts in psychology, environmental science, and forensic science may contribute insights that aid both the search and investigation. Integration of search with evidence processing. Evidence found by search teams is handed over to investigators to process and analyze, making every discovery a potential lead. Specific aspects investigators may be exploring. Abduction possibilities. They may explore whether Summer's disappearance involved abduction by reviewing people of interest or strange occurrences in the area. Potential family dynamics. The investigation could look into the family's background for any signs of discord, financial issues, or other motives. History of criminal activity in the area. Investigators may assess if recent criminal activity in the neighborhood could be connected to Summer's case. Prior reports of suspicious persons. Local records may be reviewed for previous reports of strange behavior or individuals in the community. Recent changes in the home environment. Investigators could explore any recent family changes that might have impacted Summer's safety. Any known associates. Authorities may investigate anyone who recently interacted with the family to assess potential risks. Possible patterns with other cases. If other children in the area had gone missing, or if similar cases happened recently, these may be evaluated for connections. History of Child Protection Services involvement. If CPS or similar agencies had previously been involved with the family, records might offer insight. Personal contacts. Friends or associates of the family who may have had knowledge of Summer's routines could be questioned. Mental health evaluation. Sometimes a child's behavior or family's dynamics lead investigators to assess mental health factors that may contribute to disappearance. Components of the investigation process. Analyzing call records. The investigation may involve a detailed review of recent phone records, particularly around the time of Summer's disappearance. examining digital footprints, social media, and internet searches related to family members or any person of interest are checked for relevant information. Canvassing neighborhoods. Investigators often canvass local areas, speaking to neighbors and collecting any accounts of what was seen or heard that day. Search for prior abductions in the area. If other abductions or missing person cases exist in the area, they may be re-evaluated for similarities or leads. Analysis of known offenders. Nearby law enforcement may review local offender databases for individuals who could have had access or motive to approach Summer. Data from financial records, transactions, and finances can sometimes reveal important clues, particularly if investigators suspect foul play. Analyzing parent and family alibis. Every family member's location and movements are carefully checked to validate alibis or clarify any timeline gaps. Cooperation with state and federal agencies in a high-profile case. Local agencies work with state and federal authorities for resources and specialized skills. Balancing public engagement and confidentiality. Both the search and investigation must balance informing the public and maintaining confidentiality to protect the case's integrity. Continuous re-evaluation. Each day brings new updates, and both the search and investigation processes adjust continuously, allowing for fresh strategies in locating Summer or uncovering what happened. This approach reflects the complexity of the search and investigation processes and highlights how both elements are interwoven to maximize efficiency and effectiveness in efforts to locate Summer.
As of this afternoon, we've received approximately 85 tips. Agents and officers continue to follow up on each lead that comes in. At the same time, teams continue to search the area around Ben Hill Road for any sign of Summer. Captain Tim Coop is with the Churchill Rescue Squad. He's currently serving as the incident commander for ground search operations. He's going to talk about the status of the search and the specialized teams being utilized today. Captain.
Thank you, Leslie. Once again, I wish we could bring you guys better news, but this time on the search side of operations, we have no further new news. The following methods are continuing to be used today to try to locate Summer. Ground crews comprised of over 100 trained professionals. Aerial and aviation being completed by helicopter and fixed-wing aircraft. Multiple canines, and also utilizing a specialized advanced mapping. The following new methods of search being utilized today are dive teams, hazardous and extreme terrain search teams, subject matter experts. We have deployed the state TAC and radio system to increase radio coverage for search and law enforcement efforts. USAR, the urban search and rescue teams.
Here's a detailed look at what a USAR urban search and rescue team is, their role in missing person cases, and how they contributed to the search for Summer Wells. What is a USR team? Urban Search and Rescue USAR teams are specialized units equipped to conduct search and rescue operations in various challenging environments, including urban areas, wilderness, and disaster sites. These teams are made up of highly trained individuals, often from fire departments, law enforcement, and other emergency services. Specialized training USR team members undergo extensive training in search and rescue techniques, emergency medicine, structural collapse rescue, and more. Their training includes navigating difficult terrain, handling natural obstacles, and working under hazardous conditions, which are often present in missing person searches. Core equipment and resources. USAR teams come equipped with advanced tools like GPS systems, thermal imaging cameras, and specialized search and rescue equipment. They also have medical supplies and often work alongside K-9 units to cover difficult-to-access areas more efficiently. Role in missing person searches. When it comes to missing children like Summer Wells, USAR teams are invaluable because of their ability to search vast and difficult terrain. They bring both manpower and expertise to canvass wide areas, locate evidence, and explore potential hiding spots in complex natural landscapes. Why USAR teams were needed in Summer Wells' case. The area around Summer Wells' home is challenging terrain with steep hills, dense woods, and limited access routes. USAR teams were essential for covering this rugged environment, using their skills and resources to navigate the thick brush and difficult inclines. Combining search with rescue skills in cases like Summer's, the distinction between search and rescue is essential. USAR teams are prepared not only to locate individuals but to conduct rescues if necessary. This means they're trained to handle situations where a person might be injured, stranded, or stuck in inaccessible areas. Working with local agencies, USAR teams often collaborate closely with local law enforcement and emergency services. In Summer's case, USAR teams worked alongside Tennessee Bureau of Investigation TBI agents, Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, and local volunteers to expand the search radius and cover more ground efficiently. K9 units and tracking. Many USAR teams have K9 units specializing in scent detection, which is crucial for missing persons. These dogs can pick up scents over large distances, especially in rugged terrain, which was a major asset during the search for Summer in dense, wooded areas. Extreme terrain and environmental hazards. The environment around Summer's home presented unique hazards, from steep drop-offs to areas with thick foliage where visibility was limited. USAR teams used specialized skills and tools, like rope systems and rappelling equipment, to safely navigate and search these challenging zones. Endurance and mental resilience. Search operations can be physically and emotionally demanding. USAR teams are trained to handle long hours in difficult conditions while remaining focused. This resilience is critical in cases like Summer's, where the community and law enforcement depend on these professionals to conduct a thorough and exhaustive search in hopes of locating a missing child. USAR teams bring specialized resources and trained personnel to missing person cases like Summer Wells, helping law enforcement cover challenging terrain and follow leads more effectively. Their involvement is instrumental in ensuring that no area remains unexplored in difficult environments. Urban Search and Rescue. USAR teams are specialized units trained to conduct search and rescue operations in challenging environments, including urban areas, wilderness, and disaster sites. They consist of professionals from various emergency services, such as fire departments, law enforcement, and medical personnel, who collaborate to locate and rescue individuals in distress. Key functions of USAR teams: search operations utilizing trained personnel and K9 units to locate missing persons. Rescue missions extracting individuals from hazardous situations, including collapsed structures. Medical assistance providing immediate medical care to rescued individuals. Structural assessments evaluating the stability of buildings and structures in disaster zones. USAR teams in the search for Summer Wells. In June 2021, USAR teams were deployed to assist in the search for Summer Wells, a 5-year-old girl who went missing in Hawkins County, Tennessee. The challenging terrain, characterized by dense woods and steep hills, necessitated the expertise of USAR teams to conduct thorough search operations. Their involvement included ground searches, coordination with local authorities, and the use of specialized equipment to navigate the difficult landscape. And additional resources. For a more in-depth understanding of USAR teams and their operations, consider the following resources. FEMA's Urban Search Rescue Overview provides detailed information about the National USR Response System. FEMA Urban Search and Rescue Day in the Life video offers a glimpse into the daily operations and training of a USAR team.
This is the Chester County Urban Search and Rescue Team. Today, participants are coming from Lionville Fire Company out of Euclid, PA, and Fame Fire Company from Westchester, PA. You may be asking yourself, what is an Urban Search and Rescue Team? Urban Search and Rescue, by definition, is a technical rescue operation that involves locating, extracting, and initial medical stabilizations of victims trapped in urban areas. Namely, structure collapses from natural disasters, war, maybe a terrorist attack or an accident, a mining incident, or even a trench collapse. Nation's history, we've had a lot of natural disasters and man-made disasters that required urban search and rescue. Not until 1989 did FEMA, which is the Federal Emergency Management Agency, start to begin to build a framework of federal, state, and local partners for emergency response teams to integrate a federal disaster task force. The reason for this is because not only do they support their own areas, but they support nationally and internationally. So they were able to make responses down into Haiti during their earthquakes. They go to California during their earthquakes. One of the most high-tech tools that they're going to use during the rescue is going to be a video scope. This is a 25-foot long boom scope, and it's very important to get down into where the victims are. This has the ability to do a 360-degree view of where victims may be laying. It also has the ability to talk to a patient and listen to a patient.
And also have deployed state and federal resources. At this time, we have a total of 41 agencies involved in being represented in the search for Summer Wells. We have, at the completion of search efforts as of yesterday, the 17th, we have covered 688 acres of ground of extreme terrain. We're on the track to completing a total of 1,000 acres of land covered thoroughly by the completion of today's search efforts. Once again, as we have stated, we are still experiencing steep and dangerous terrain, which causes our teams to become exhausted very quick. We are and will continue to work with and alongside local, state, and federal search and law enforcement agencies to locate Summer Wells, which is our ultimate mission to complete. Thank you. I'll now hand it over to Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson.